Hello students, myself Karishma Datta from Saraswat International Academy. I am going to teach to standard 9th English medium, subject social science, chapter number 2, First World War and Russian Revolution, part 4. Okay students, before moving with today's topic, we shall do the revision of the part 3 topic. Okay, we have seen the First World War, when it began and what was its event took place in the First World War. We have even seen that is the immediate effect of the First World War. Okay, that is the first one is destruction of man and material. Then the second one was social change. The third one was the Treaty of Versailles, June 1919, and the fourth one was the long term effect. Okay, so we have completed with the part that is First World War. Now we will move on with what that is the topic of today's is the Russian Bolshevik Revolution 1917. Okay, what took place in Russian Revolution 1917 and Bolshevik Revolution, that we are going to see over here. So the first point over here, the Russian Revolution 1917 is considered as an important event in the world history. Now what they are saying over here, that is, as First World War is said to be an important event in the world history, as same Russian Revolution in the year 1917, right, is considered to be as an important event in the world history. Second, the Russian had been compressed, suppressed by the Caesar of Russia. Okay, what they are saying that they were compressed and they were suppressed by whom? That is by the Caesar of Russia. Who? That is the Russian people. Over here, compressed means what? Treated harshly. Okay, treated harshly, and suppressed means dabana. Right? It was done by the Caesar of whom? That is of Russia. Next. The Russian Caesar who inherited the position were all dictators and enjoyed uncontrolled rule over people. Now what they are saying over here, that is the Russian Caesar who inherited, matlab like uh, from forefathers, right? The position were all dictators. They were said to be rulers and enjoyed uncontrolled rule over people. Like whatever were they liking it, they were doing it. Who? The Caesars of Russia. Next, people did not have any right during this period. Only, they are saying over here, only the rights were in the hands of the Caesar, because they were said to be the rulers of Russia, right? And whatever was being said by them, that was to be done by the people. Okay, people were themselves was not having any right of doing anything. Okay, at that time, and they were ruling. Next, the Caesar was so cruel and pitiless people uh, on people that if anyone demanded for any rights, he was tortured. Right? They were so cruel and pitiless. Right? What was being seen? If people was demanding for their rights, right, that people was being tortured by the Caesars. Okay, that means they wanted only that people need to listen them. They don't want to listen people, and whatever was being said by them, that was to be done by the people. And if the people demanded for any right, they were being tortured by them. That person was being tortured. Next, suppressed and severely punished or condemned to sent to the home chilling and death cold of Siberia. Okay, now what they're saying over here, right? If a person was demanding at that time to the Caesar, okay, what was the Caesar doing? The Caesar was punishing. They were tortured. They were suppressed, severely punished. And what type of punishment was being given to them? Bone chilling and death cold of Siberia, right? Bone chilling means keeping them on ice, okay, and giving them punishment and sending them to the dead cold Siberia. Okay, there is a very, it has been said, very cold over there, and death punishment was being given to the person if the person was asking for what, that is for the rights. Next, this uncontrolled and oppressive Caesardom became the reason of grief, poverty, and suffering among people. Okay, right? Because the Caesars were enjoying their all rights over there, right? People were not enjoying at all. They were only fulfilling their wishes, their desire, and they were very happy living in Russia. Okay, because they were fulfilling all the wants of them, but they were not fulfilling any wants of whom, that is of the people. So how the people became over there, that is, people became poverty means garibi, and suffering among people. And that obviously, when there is more poverty in the country, that means basic needs are even not being seen of a people to be fulfilled. Okay, and people started suffering. Okay, why? Because Caesardom, they suppressed the people, right? They oppressed the people in such a condition that poverty condition prevailed in the people of the Russia, and even people started suffering. Next, the Russian farmers, laborers, and peasant means poor farmer. What is peasant means? Poor farmer. Were not getting enough income despite working very hard. They became poor. Okay, now what they're saying, what was the condition of farmers during the time of Caesar? Okay, what they're saying over here, the laborer, the farmers, the peasants were not getting enough income, right? As because they were working very hard in the farm. They were working very hard in the farm, but despite of working very much hard, they were not getting enough of income, and because of that reason, the farmer, the laborers, the peasants, they became poorer. They were poor, but they became more poorer in the dictatorship of Caesar. Next, under the leadership of Father Gapon, a large rally was taken out to the Caesar's resident Winter Palace on 22nd January 1905 Sunday. Okay, now what they're saying over here, that is, under the leadership of Father Gapon, a large rally was taken out on the Caesar's residence at Winter Palace, 22nd January 1905 Sunday. Why was this rally took place? This rally took place in the leadership of Father Gapon to oppose what, the rule of whom, that is of the Caesar, to oppose the Caesar, right? The rally was being taken. Where was the rally being taken? Where the Caesar was living, right? जहाँ पे वो रह रहे था, वहाँ पे the rally was being taken by Father Gapon. And which palace was he living, residing? That is Winter Palace. And when was this event took place in under the leadership of Father Gapon? That is 22nd January 1905 Sunday. Next, these peoples were unarmed, while some had the Caesar's picture in hand with caption like, "Long living the little white lord of Russia," written on it. Some were unarmed, that means they were not having any weapons with them. Some have some like pictures of whom, that is of Caesar. And one caption was been written, right? In that caption, a proverb was been written. And what was the proverb? "Long live the little white lord of Russia." That means till now we have lived very long. Who? That is a little white lord, because he was living in a white palace, right? Little white lord of Russia. You have lived a long life now. It's now your end to it. Okay, that type of proverb was the written, caption was written on the picture side. Next, the Caesar army opened fire on these innocent people, because of which thousands of innocent people died, and the snow in Petersburg, were where the Caesar palace was situated, turned red with blood. Okay, now what they're saying over here, that is a Caesar. When these people took the rally towards the white winter palace of Caesar resident, right, and they started having the captions and saying like long living the little white lord of Russia, what was been seen, the Caesar army opened fire on these people, right, to the innocent people. They were just opposing it. They were not just having some weapons with them to oppose. They were doing the opposition, that is by war, that is by non-violence. But what did the army did? The army of Caesar opened fire to the innocent people, and because of which thousands of innocent people died. And the snow Petersburg, where the Caesar palace was situated, turned into red blood, because obviously thousands of people died, their blood shed in the snow. Okay, then the day is known as Bloody Sunday in the history. Why Bloody Sunday in the history? Because the rally took place in the year 22nd January 1905. On which day? That was Sunday. And why bloody? Because the snow which was white turned into what? It turned into red blood. Okay. So the day when these things happened, the Caesar army opened fire. That day is known as Bloody Sunday. In where? That is in the history. Next. Around this time, a large number of Russians got provoked and become restless as the weakness of the Caesardom. Okay, around this time, a large number of Russians got provoked, right? Provoking was been done and became restless, thak gaye, right? On the weakness of the Caesardom. That means Caesardom slowly started weakening up. Okay, then had become obvious when a small nation like Japan had defeated a massive nation like Russia in the Russian War 1904 1900 till 1905. The war was being seen. Okay, now what they're saying over here, that is around, that is had become obvious the Caesardom became weak, and the Russian over there, large number of Russian got provoked by that, and the Caesardom became weak. And what was the obvious reason for that is a small nation like Japan had defeated the massive nation like Russia. Russia is said to be a very huge nation, and Japan is said to be a very small nation, and a war was being held between Russia and Japan in the year 1904 1905. And what they're saying over here, that is a small nation like Russia, Japan defeated the massive nation like Russia in the Russian-Japan war. In order to pacify the angry Russian. Okay, over here pacify means to cool down. Pacify means to cool down. In order to pacify the angry Russian, an announcement to call for Duma Legislative Assembly, which had not been called for years, was made. Okay, in order to pacify, to cool down the anger of Russians. Okay, an announcement to call for Duma Legislative Assembly was called. Duma Legislative Assembly was called, which had not been called for years. Okay, was made. Eventually, four such Duma were called. Four such Duma means four times legislative assembly was called. But before it takes step to satisfy the citizen, it had been called off. Now what they are saying, that eventually four such Duma were called, four such legislative assemblies were called. But before it can take step to satisfy the citizen, okay, it had been called off. Okay, that means the assembly was called, four time it was called, and no decision was been taken to satisfy the citizen, or before that only what was been seen, the assembly was called off, matlab band kar diya gaya. Okay, next. But Lenin believed in the importance of laborers as propagated by Karl Marx, while the Menshevik group believed in importance of middle class. Okay, now what they're saying over here, that is Lenin believed in importance of laborer as propagated by Karl Marx. Karl Marx is an economist. Okay, and what did Karl Marx was saying, that we should give more importance to whom, that is to the laborers. And what was the mentality of Menshevik group, that they believed in importance of what, that is middle class. That means two side, what Lenin was thinking to propagate whom, that is the laborers. Okay, and one side the Menshevik group, that is Kerensky, was believing that the development or give importance to whom, that is to the middle class. As a result, Lenin instigated the Bolshevik against Menshevik. Instigated over here means started. Okay, instigated the Bolshevik against Menshevik. Okay, and in November 1917 declared a final revolution and got the reign in his hand. Okay, now what they're saying, what work was being done by Lenin over here? He instigated the people. He started the Bolshevik against, that is the Menshevik. He made the Bolshevik and Menshevik against them, and in November 1917 declared a final revolution. Who declared a final revolution? Lenin declared a final revolution and got the reign in his hand. Now Kerensky was not getting that much of importance. This came to be known as Socialist Bolshevik Revolution, and that was said to be as what? Socialist Bolshevik Revolution. That means Menshevik Revolution was at one side, which was Kerensky was the head of it. Now that went away, and Bolshevik Revolution was being seen. Thus, 300 years old Stardom came to an end. For the first time, Russia was without the Czar. Right? 300 years this Czar ruled over Russia. Okay, and now at the end, for the first time, Russia was without the Czar. Okay, students, so we have completed with the Russian Revolution, okay, the Bolshevik Revolution. So now we'll start the effect, the now over we will start with the efforts made for world peace. Okay, the League of Nation. Okay, I said you that after First World War, by seeing the situations of the whole nation, the whole world needed peace, because we have seen a huge destruction of First World War and its impact also was being seen. So it was decided to make an organization which can work for world peace, and for that reason the League of Nations was being made. First, the horror of the World War explained the absolute necessity of world peace to the nations of the world. As I said, student, like by seeing the horror impact of the World War, right, the whole world needed what? That is peace. Okay. Next, and for this, a need of an international organization was being felt. Okay, an international organization can only work for the world peace. Okay, and for that need was being seen. Next, so it became necessary to think actively and immediately about world peace. So it became very much necessary to think about and immediate what was to be done, that world peace need to be brought out, because the impact of the First World War was not that much good. Next, the American President Woodrow Wilson had contributed substantially in the establishment of League of Nations, right? League of Nations, in the League of Nations, the establishment of League of Nations was done by the American President Woodrow Wilson. He contributed to a great point. Next, the 14 points suggested by Woodrow Wilson was presented during the Paris peace process on 10th January 1920. Okay, the 14 points suggested by Woodrow Wilson were presented during the Paris peace process, and we know that Paris peace process was been seen as a treaty of Versailles, which was been signed by Germany. Okay, because Germany was an Axis nation and Allied nation won the war. Germany surrendered in front of Allied nation, and Germany was made to sign the Paris peace process treaty. Okay, so it was these was mentioned. The 14 point was mentioned in the Paris peace process. On 10th January 1920, the League of Nations was formed. The aims of League of Nation. The League of Nation was formed, and now we will see the aims of League of Nation. With what motive was the League of Nation was being built out? First, to maintain international peace and security. Okay, what was the main aim of the League of Nations? To maintain international peace and security. Second, even nation, every nation to respect the unity and integrity of the nation. Every nation need to respect the unity and integrity of all the other nation. No, nothing disheartened, aggression, nothing. We need to even respect the unity and integrity of other nation. Next, to give up the policy of war. That means we need to move on with war, that is disarmament. War should not be took place. The policy of war should be given up. Next, to develop the international relation, like a good relation need to be developed. That was an aim of League of Nations. Next, to solve international disputes peacefully through negotiation or mediation. Okay, what they're saying over here, right? Negotiation over here means by talking. Negotiation by talking, right? If any country or country is having a dispute, international dispute is being seen, that should be solved by League of Nations very peacefully through negotiation by talking. No war to be done by talking. That should be peacefully. The dispute should be solved. Next, if any nation ignores the League of Nations, it would be declared as rebel nation. Okay, any nation who is ignoring the League of Nation, okay, any points or aims of League of Nation, it would be declared as rebel nation. That is a nation which is against the League of Nation. Next, the League of Nation established for world peace did not manage to keep control over the imperialistic policy of the superpower, and in 1939 the Second World War began. That means the League of Nations was not successful in bringing peace internationally with the other countries. The imperialistic policies of the superpower, like I need to become the powerful nation of the world, right? That type of thought was being seen. People, these nations do not want peace, they need power. Okay, and because of this policy, in the year 1939, League of Nations failed to maintain peace and the Second World War began. So students, we complete with a chapter over here, that is the First World War and Russian Revolution. Theory will be given to you and even the PDF will be sent to you, and we are completing over here a chapter, and the questions which will be given to you, everything will be sent to you by video also and even by the PDF. You need to write it in your notebook by writing day and date. Okay, and everything, I need to say it again and again, everything what you write, that is 2 mark answer, 3 mark answer, or the detailed formation answer, everything need to be written point wise, because it is very beneficial for you to write in point wise, and even it would be easy for you to read it out. Okay, students, theory over here. Question. These all theories are being seen in the exercise. Okay, that is 2.2. At a short note on Russian Revolution in a very detailed form. This topic was been explained to you. So write in a point wise only. Okay, then The aims of League of Nation, now only it has been explained to you, the aims of League of Nation, that is the 1 to 6 point, right? The first to 6 points, which are the aims, main aims of League of Nation, that you need to write it. Now the give reason point, that is the League of Nation was established after the First World War. Okay, what was the reason of League of Nation to be established after First World War? That you need to write it out. Even that has been said by PDF. Okay, and what was the necessity of League of Nation? To maintain world peace after the First World War. Okay, and the second one, 3.2, 22nd January 1905 is known as the Bloody Sunday of Russia. Over here, the second paragraph in the point, that is why was the day said to be as Bloody Sunday? As with the leadership of Father Gapon, the Russian citizen, they went to the Winter Palace, residence of Caesar, over there with a photo and the caption. Okay, and over there, when Caesar said his army to show died over there, and the white snow was now being seen with blood. Okay, so that day was Sunday, so that day is said to be as Bloody Sunday. Okay, that way you need to write it in your notebook. Okay, and here we end with our chapter, and the next video will be with a new chapter.